Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are watching us from. Our distinguished audience, we appreciate you joining us today. This is Connect with Comfort Show, and I'm your regular host, Comfort Eyitayo. On this show, we aim to add value to people on business, enterprise, and personal growth. For each show, we we feature special guests who are subject matter experts that helps us to throw more insight on the topic of the day. I'm glad you are able to join us today. You are most welcome. The topic for discussion today is diversification and innovation in challenging times. In an era marked by unprecedented uncertainties, dynamic shifts in market dynamics, and unforeseen disruptions, the concepts of diversification and innovation have emerged as not only survival strategies, but also the keys to thriving in the face of adversity. We find ourselves amidst an ever changing global environment influenced by technological advancements, economic fluctuations, social transformation, and now the profound impact of recent global events. We talk of inflation and other ills of society. These circumstances have presented us with both challenges and opportunities that demand our careful consideration and adept response. The old age adage of not putting all our eggs in one basket has never been more pertinent than it is today, underscoring the importance of diversification in all our endeavors. Diversification as a concept encapsulates the principle of spreading risks and resources across a variety of areas, sectors, or strategies. In local parlance, what they say, èyí jẹ tọ̀hún ò jẹ. If one does not work, another one can work. In terms of uncertainty, this strategy serves as a shield against the vulnerability of a single point of failure, because if it is one item or one line of business, if it fails, it fails. There's no shield. So to that extent, we encourage diversification. But through diversification, the truth that diversification is something that goes beyond risk mitigation. It is the foundation upon which innovation can flourish. Moreover, innovation stands as an indispensable counterpart to diversification, because you have to innovate to be able to diversify from one line of business to the other. It is the catalyst that propels organizations or businesses and individuals forward, enabling them to adapt, overcome, and even thrive in challenging circumstances. We saw that very clearly during the COVID period. Talk of innovation, trying to think out of the box, doing things differently. Today, we will delve into the symbiotic relationship between diversification and innovation. We will explore through the real world examples that underscore the effectiveness as well as delving into strategies to cultivate these practices within our organizations, businesses, and even personal endeavors. We are fortunate to have the right person to share insights on all this for us on our show today as our special guest for today's show. Please remain connected while we go on a short break before we bring our guests on. Thank you very much.
This is gonna make a lot of people sad and probably some happy, but I can't worry about that now. I quit. Fine, call me a quitter. I don't care. I just can't do this anymore. I've changed. You're not to blame. I'm just not the same person you knew before. So, not to be rude at all, but I'm done trying to live up to your expectations and down to them. Basically, I quit being bound to them. I quit following everyone's opinion of what's right for me. I quit holding myself back, living emotionally trapped, and not being who I'd like to be. I quit being loyal to these negative thoughts that have never been useful. I quit letting the guilt of my past get in my path and deprive me of a beautiful future. I quit letting people who have proven it they don't really care about me get to me. I quit hanging out with friends who on most days I couldn't tell you if they're friends or enemies, draining my energy. I quit letting society's expectations and timetables pressure me, direct my destiny and stress me. I quit forgiving everyone else in the whole world except me. I quit wanting the cool kids to accept me. I quit not saying what's on my mind at important times, letting fear come near and suppress me. I quit being so emotionally tied to the likes and shares of people I barely know online. I quit self-doubt and self-sabotage. I quit being a screw-up and a gonna-doer. I quit sleepwalking through life instead of living my dreams. I quit waiting for ducks to line up instead of spreading my wings. I quit not giving 100%. I quit dimming my light so that others won't have to squint. I quit peer pressure and people pleasing. I quit the prison of perfection. I quit the fear of failure and the fear of success. I quit hesitation, desperation, expectations, devastations. I quit. And no, I don't have a 2-week notice, so please accept this as my letter of resignation. I know it seems...
Welcome back. We have our guest in the house waiting. And for us to know that is the right person to be sharing insight with us on this very crucial and important topic today, I need to give a brief bios on our guest today. Our distinguished guest for today's interesting topic is Mr. Olukoyejo Olutosin. He is a graduate of computer studies, computer science precisely, and was pioneer president of programmers group of University of Ado Ekiti. An IT professional with over 20 years experience in developing many cutting-edge solutions for schools and large organizations. He is an innovative entrepreneur with a strong passion for creative excellence. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Chronicle Software Development Company Limited, a company that emerged as one of the top 50 emerging businesses in Nigeria by Diamond Bank in its BET3 program in 2013. His software has enjoyed over 1.2 million users since inception in about 40 countries and in 4 continents. That is a big one. He is an alumnus of Enterprise Business Center, EDC, that's a sister institution of Lagos Business School, LBS, Association Leadership Academy, ALA, and Faith Foundation in 2013. Koyejo was appointed a member of the Human Capital Development Commission, HSDPC, of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. He is the convener of the CONFAB, an annual conference of young professionals and students, which aims at empowering youth to take the lead and excel in their chosen fields. With this very abridged profile for Mr. Olukoyejo Olutosin, you will agree with me that we have the right person in the house. Please make welcome with me Mr. Olukoyejo Olutosin, our special guest for today's show. Koyejo, you are welcome.
Thank you very much, Ma. Thanks for having me, and good evening, viewers.
Thank you very much for obliging us to share your insights on
Always a
today's
pleasure,
show.
Ma.
Thank you very much. We'll go straight to the point by asking, how does diversification contribute to a company's resilience during challenging economic periods?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, very much, Ma. And once again, thank you so much for inviting me. And viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned to Connect with Comfort. Let me start by saying that there's growth, consistent growth, and for a company to stay afloat in diverse challenges and different economic headwinds, at some point in the company's life, there needs to be diversification. And to diversify means that you can diversify horizontally and you can also diversify vertically. So to diversify horizontally and vertically will mean that you have a product, you just innovate it to serve, a different target market. For instance, we have a product that service secondary school. So it's called the Success Tab. It's a tablet. It's an education device. So to diversify on our own, K that will be, can we prepare this device for university students? By so doing, we have created a new market, but the same product. And we are trying to see how to get that across university students. Now, then also there's another version of diversification whereby you create an entirely new product to target an entirely new market. So for instance, we'll now say, okay, beyond just tablets, can we also start doing phones? That's a completely new product and is targeting a different market. So sometimes to be able to, diversification is very important because it enables you to run a multi-product company. When a company runs a multi-product company, it ensures multiple streams of income. So it's a very important culture, whether challenges or no challenges, for companies to be able to position themselves for consistent diversity, whether it's horizontal or vertical. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We have been told the importance of diversification, and also that is layered with the need for innovation, because for you to diversify, you have to innovate.
Mhm.
So that's why they are like a double sides of a coin, twin side of a coin. Can you provide examples of companies that successfully diversified their product or service offerings in response to challenging market conditions? What were their outcomes?
Thank you very much. There was the case of a particular company that we know. They are very popular. They are still very much alive today. It's called the Apple Computer. Now, when Apple came around in the 70s and in the 80s, they were revolutionized in, desktop computing. They were known for putting desktop that species, personal computers. But as time went on, they saw that there was a dramatic shift in technology. And what they did was that instead of building complex desktop computers, can we bring the complexities and make it handheld? So they pioneered one of the most successful smartphones in the world, and that is called the iPad, so it's the iPhone, and it was released in 2007. And it was championed by the revolutionary Steve Jobs, who was the founder and the CEO of the company at that time. And till today, after the release of the iPhone in 2007, iPhone has contributed more than 60 to 65% of the revenue of iPhone year on year. So that's one very, very, successful
Good
case
example.
of a company that was able to diversify extensively and created a huge market opportunity.
That's a good one, and it's known by everyone. Thank you very
A
much.
pleasure.
In what ways does innovation play a crucial role in helping businesses navigate and overcome challenging times?
Okay, so innovation is very important. Okay, so some people define innovation as the next level of convenience. So I know that there are different definitions, but you ask yourself, what's the next level of convenience? It's innovation. So when you move something, those days we used to have ceiling fan, we had standing fan, we now had ACs, we now had split units. Another level of convenience is innovation. When we're growing up, I remember those days, like once in 3 months, we'll have us gathered together around what we'll call a pistol and a mortar, and everybody's pounding pounded yam to eat one very sweet Sunday afternoon. But today, we don't have to gather around a mortar and a pistol. Just connect a very nice hydraulics with a good appliance and connect it to electricity source, cut, dice your yam, put into it, and your pounded yam is ready. Not even poundo yam this time. So
Yes.
that's next for every next layer or level of convenience. It's a simple definition of innovation. So innovation is very critical for any company. Innovation should be part of the culture of any company that wants to survive in today's times. So that's where I want to draw the curtain on that question.
Thank you very much. You have also used a very known example to drive that point home. The era of pistol and mortar for pounded yam. Now we have machines in every home. What are the potential risks associated with diversification, particularly in times of uncertainty? How can this risk be mitigated?
Okay, so straight up, one of the potential risks I can tell you is there's going to be a risk of losing money, and you want to be able to mitigate that risk to a sizable extent. So, how you mitigate that risk is before you jump into that line of business, you have to do what I would call an extensive market research. And even when you do an extensive market research, you don't just launch your product to the market. So, what happens is that you have to do what they call look for what they call a product to market fit. You release the product in phases and see how the market responds, so that companies don't just use R&D, research, visibility study, and just roll out 1 million copies of a product. And when they roll out 1 million copies of a product, they discover that the market is not even buying up to 50 units. And as such, the market rejects the product. There's investment in the product have gone down the drain. So to mitigate this risk, companies are advised to do what they call intensive market research. And aside from that, companies are also, are taught to also release this product in phases. From my industry, there's what we call minimum viable product. So instead of spending 6 years to release a product, design something small to test for 6 months and let the market be the one to now give you direction on how you will be able to put it. So the risk of losing money is very high, and to mitigate that risk, an extensive market research is recommended, coupled with the fact that product release should be in phases our MVP, that's the minimum viable product. Then you now begin to release when you discover a product market fit, then now begin to roll out extensively.
Okay, thank you very much for that. How do market disruptions, such as economic downturn or technological advancements, impact a company's approach to diversification and innovation?
Yes, thank you very much. I mean, disruption is what makes a company become obsolete in less than in less than 30 days. A very thriving company can become very obsolete if they don't keep in terms with technology and trying to see what the competition is doing. So one of the ways to stay ahead and not be will I say a victim of disruption is to consistently and continuously innovate to stay ahead. So a leader and the various people in the company must continue to arm themselves with the right set of skills. For instance, just like me and you know that there's something around the corner that's going to disrupt the way we have seen businesses in the last 20, 25 years. And that's called AI. And that is AI is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is giving teachers sleepless nights. Artificial intelligence is making school owners, yes, school owners, anything you're going to teach your child in school,
And
ChatGPT
get it.
already knows. ChatGPT knows what you're going to learn in school when it resumes. ChatGPT can roll out your timetable from 100 level to 500 level. ChatGPT can, with AI and chatbots, they can teach you all your courses extensively. ChatGPT can answer your questions. So, I mean, AI has so what we now need to do to stem the tide of disruption is to arm ourselves with necessary skills to stay ahead and see how to domesticate that innovation. So AI is coming instead of schools and industries to be threatened. They need to see how to take this AI tool, domesticate it within their space so that they can have the necessary edge. So that's how to stay ahead of disruption so that companies can be able to gain competitive advantage.
Very true, very true. AI is becoming the nightmare for most uh, companies now. What are the key factors that businesses should consider when deciding whether to focus on diversification, innovation, or a combination of both in challenging times?
Okay, so I think that a company should look at what they call the top line revenue and the bottom line revenue. The top line revenue is your turnover, the bottom line revenue is your profit. And look at the different revenue drivers. So if you discover that one product in your company is contributing to more than 60, 70% of your revenue, then you know that you need to diversify your income and revenue portfolio. If you have just because if there's what they call a keep that's a very big risk. If anything happens to that product by either government legislation or force majeure or changing policies, that particular company will be affected very, very, very drastically. So one needs to look at that clearly. So one of the things I recommend is you need to look at your population. Also, another thing is market analysis. You need to look at what's in your day-to-day engagement in your current business. Which areas do you see future potential for growth? So when you see a future potential for growth, you now begin to build capability and capacity in that direction. That could also be an indication of where and how to diversify. Then it could also be a very consistent market opportunity. Market opportunity can just create itself. For instance, subsidy removal, it was a market opportunity. Just like it is causing so much, pain in the populace, but it created an opportunity for to liberalize the number of people bringing in. So you now have many more companies going to NNPC and say we can bring fuel into the country. And what has happened is that some people now have licenses and they have been engaged by the government to bring in fuel into the country. So these are three different areas. The top line revenue angle is one. look at existing market opportunity, and look at places for potential growth based on day-to-day engagement of the company. These are indicators that can drive decision making on diversification.
Okay. How can businesses strike a balance between core competency and diversification to ensure long-term success?
Well, I think that they say that the illiterate of the 21st century are those that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. It's not those that cannot read and write. So meaning that the leadership of different companies and countries must commit themselves consistently to the approach of learning, unlearning, and relearning to be able to give themselves the maximum competitive advantage. So your core competence is where you already know, but still, if you sit down there for too long, you become obsolete. So applying themselves to constant learning could be that particular factor that can make all the difference at this point in time.
Very, very correct. So, what role does consumer behavior and demand play in driving the need for diversification and innovation during uncertain periods?
Okay, so as you and I know, Ma, that they say customer is king, and that's very important. So um, in deciding or looking at whether to diversify or not, one must be sure that there is earning power or buying power on the side of the consumers to be able to afford the particular product being churned out into the market. So when a company is innovating or diversifying, they must be able to say for certainty that the overwhelming value of the product matches the consumer needs and aspiration at that point in time. So an extensive market research, like I mentioned earlier, can play a good role. Then also, sticking clearly to what the consumer wants and values in a very good customer in a very good customer experience profiling goes a very long way to make that happen.
Thank you. Are there specific industries or sectors that are more inclined to benefit from diversification, innovation during challenging times, and why?
Um, I don't think that any specific industry is left out. There's one company that we know before. That company used to produce paper, and before you know it, a couple of years down the line, it started producing smartphones. So what I mean is that any company can transition. So any industry can transition. Any sector can transition. So innovation diversification is not industry specific, neither is it sector specific. Any company that sees a bright opportunity in an area can decide to take the leap and take the opportunity that is created in that sector.
And thank you. And maybe to add to that, any company that wants to grow need to take that
Absolutely.
opportunity. I want to appreciate, before we go on break, appreciate Adetunde Ademutu from Surulere joining us. Thank you very much. He's a regular partner in this show. Thank you very much. We'll go on a short break now and be right back. Please remain connected.
These dry bones will rise again, 'cause the stone has been rolled away. At the touch of living water, yeah, yeah. This broken branch will live again. These fallen walls will be restored. the Lord to his voice as he calls, call forth. Arise, come alive. It's not over till Jehovah says yeah. Arise, come alive. Mighty shoulder must fulfill your destiny. Yeah.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying true. Do we have our guest? Okay, while we wait for our guest to connect back. Okay, welcome back, Koyejo. Can you hear me? Koyejo, can you hear me? Okay, before he joins us back, we have been talking about the importance of diversification and innovation, the importance of this for our businesses, for our organization, and even for personal growth. And we have he has shared important information with us why this is very key. Okay, welcome back. So
Thank you very much, Ma.
we'll continue by asking you how you can explain the concept of disruptive innovation. We have been talking of innovation, the disruptive innovation and its relevance in helping companies thrive amidst adversity.
Okay, so disruptive innovation, the concept is, you know, uh, uh, bringing a new technology or enhancing a current technology to be able to create to unlock new value for specific market segments, and that will also mean rendering other former technological processes, obsolete. And we've seen cases in time and again where there have been a disruption in technology and there's an advancement in different levels. One of them is what we are doing currently. We're currently using a smartphone or smartphones and laptops to be able to have this, conversation. Back then, if you look at 25 years ago, all we had was one telephone somewhere. We could not do live stream. The best we could get was live television. We couldn't have this kind of democratized viewing. In fact, when your show was running this evening, I was like, this is a full-fledged, television station anchored by one individual. Now that was not possible some years back. So disruptive innovation, it's a very vital tool that can advance a particular economy, that can advance a particular people group. And disruptive innovation also doesn't go down well with the laggards. The laggards are people that do not that fail to innovate. So and as such, they are caught up and they can begin to lose value and they can begin to go into extinction. So to stay afloat, leaders of organizations and leaders of nations needs to see how to create the ecosystem that enable people to think out of the box and create solutions that enable them to thrive in the short term, mid term, and long term. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. How can companies foster a culture of innovation even when resources might be constrained due to challenging market conditions?
Okay, so yes, I tried to answer part of that question. I didn't know that was the next
Yeah,
question coming. Yeah, so one of the ways is number one, many of these innovations, except for maybe deep high tech innovations, a good number of them do not cost. I mean, they not cost companies to break the bank actually. So to foster the culture of innovation, there has to be a culture of continuous learning. There has to be a culture of excellence. There has to be a culture of customer satisfaction. There has to be a culture of getting things done efficiently, getting things done excellently. That culture should be there. Now it's in the culture of excellent service delivery, in the culture of innovation, in the culture of learning and knowledge, that one now begins to say, oh, what do we do next? Now begin to question the status quo, now even question the processes that are working perfectly. That's what begins to give rise to innovative thinking, creative problem solving, that eventually brings us to disruptive innovation that moves organization and nations forward.
Okay, thank you. What are some common misconceptions or pitfalls that companies should avoid when attempting to diversify or innovate in response to challenging circumstances?
Okay, I think one of the first misconceptions is that every diversification will lead to revenue growth. That's a fallacy. Now, people diversify in the expectation that it will lead to revenue growth, but diversification alone is not what gives you revenue growth. The system at which a company needs to use to unlock value has to be put in place. Just like you and I know that the best product is not the one that wins in the market, but the most positioned product, and the product that all the value ends provides its ability to unlock value for the customer. That is the product that wins in the marketplace. So one misconception is that every diversification in a company will lead to potential revenue growth. It doesn't always happen. Why? Because many a times the capability and the latitude to sell product A might not be the same capacity and latitude to sell product B. So the same organization, with the tactics they used to sell product A that made them successful, they want to sell product B with those same attitude, latitude and capability. Before they know it, they begin to fall short. That is one very important thing. So to be able to put that in context, people need to understand and do a holistic what they call it value proposition. Ask yourself what is the product, who is the customer, do detailed customer profiling, then look at what is my route to market, look at what's my startup strategy, how do I get the customer to buy, what are my distribution patterns. All those things needs to be properly ideated before the product is eventually launched, so that economic value can be unlocked. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. How do global events such as pandemic, geopolitical shifts, or environmental concerns impact the strategies and businesses adopt for diversification and innovation? Okay, it's like our guest has been thrown off. Okay, before he comes back, let's quickly look at some salient points that he has said. Okay, I'll just ask the question: how do global events such as pandemic, geopolitical shifts, or environmental concerns impact the strategies that businesses adopt for diversification and innovation?
Okay, ma. So one thing I know for certain is that uh, those events can really disrupt heavily, and they can also create massive opportunities as they are disrupting the model. So I think that businesses should be designed to be resilient, to be able to withstand economic headwinds. COVID was a very, very, I mean, there was a shutdown in the global economy. Virtually everybody's majority of maybe 90% of organizations lost revenue, except for organizations that provided essential feedbacks at that point in time. Maybe essential supplies in the medical side were those organizations that were making revenue and headway at that point in time. So those global, because of the world is global village, and the market dynamics of the world are interconnected, this is also going to play a very long role in making sure that whatever happens globally affects the local market. So to stay afloat in this direction, companies are designed to be resilient and adaptive, such that they can withstand any of these shocks that are likely to come on their way.
Thank you very much, Koyejo. You've been so fantastic with your insight today. We appreciate you. The knowledge you have shared with us is awesome.
Thank you
We
very much, man.
just appreciate your time and the knowledge. Thank you very much. We hope next time when we come calling, you avail us of your time.
Very
Thank
well, man.
you. Yeah,
Certainly, man.
thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much once again for having me, and have a good evening, viewers. God bless you, man. Bye, man.
Thank you. God bless you. Bye. So we'll go for a quick break and come back for our recap session. Please don't go away, remain connected. We'll be right back. You are welcome back. Come to recap session. I'm sure you have jotted one or two points from the insights shared by our guest. But just as a quick recap, we have been told the importance of diversification. Diversification is a strategy that spreads risk across different sectors, industries, and asset classes. And in challenging times, relying heavily on a single product or market can be very risky. And that is why it is advisable to diversify to mitigate risk. We've also been told about the need for adaptation, resilience. Challenging times necessitate adaptability and resilience to survive and thrive. Because diversification encourages businesses to explore new opportunities, which is also partly innovation, and markets, making them more adaptable to changing circumstances. Innovation as a survival tool. Innovation is very crucial during challenging times as it can lead to new revenue streams and competitive advantage, and also to ensure that we do not go out of the market, because when new things come up, if we do not innovate, we can find the business to go into extinction. So companies need to find creative solutions to address market shifts and customers' needs, which also shift from time to time. We need to expand our product stroke service offering. Diversification can involve expanding companies' product or service offerings to cater to a broader customer base. Recall that our guest said they were doing the software for the secondary school students before, but they now consider the need to go to the tertiary level, which they did, and it's giving them good yield. Geographical diversification is also important. Expanding into new geographic markets can reduce reliance on a single economy or region. If anything happens to the economy of a particular region, if you are well diversified, you will not be as much hit as if you rely on one economic cycle. Technology and digital transformation, that is also very important. Embracing technology is very key. Like he told us that the illiterate of the 21st century is not those that cannot read and write. It is those that have refused to unlearn, relearn, and upskills themselves. So we need to embrace technology in all that we do to streamline operation, develop innovative business models, and to increase profitability for our businesses. Is important to embrace technology. Learning from success stories also is also a good avenue to navigate challenging times. Through experiences that other people have gone through, you'll be able to innovate in that line and provide more valuable insights. Balancing risk and reward. Diversification does not eliminate risk totally, but aims to manage and minimize it. So we have to bear that in mind. We have to strike a balance between conservative and ambitious diversification strategy in whatever we do. Then long-term vision is also important to look ahead, to plan ahead, align with the long-term goal of the company. Short-term challenges may require adjustment, but the overall strategic direction should remain consistent, and that is the long-term vision. Collaboration and partnership, in some of the topics that we've treated in the past, we have stressed on this. These days and age, we need to collaborate with uh, people in allied businesses to be able to have that synergy of getting greater yield. So we need to partner with people that like-minded and people in the same line of business to facilitate diversification by tapping into the external expertise and resources they provide. Joint ventures can also help, and alliances can open doors to new markets and technology. Employee engagement and training, that's another one important thing. We have treated this in the past in one of our topic. Employee, we see them as our number one stakeholder or customer. They require new skills and expertise to be able to give us the best. So we need to train and develop them in such a way that they will be able to adapt to new challenges. So as a form of conclusion, diversification offers a shield against uncertainties by spreading risk across different sectors, industries, and markets. It serves as a safety net that cushions impacts of unexpected disruptions and safeguards against over-reliance on single revenue. It's also in tandem that innovation emerges as the driving force that propels organizations beyond their comfort zones, opening doors to new possibilities and uncharted territories. When faced with adversities, the innovative spirit compels us to re-evaluate, adapt, and redefine approaches, enabling us to transform challenges into opportunities. Through innovation, we not only survive but thrive in the face of adversity. On this note, I would like to appreciate especially all our online audience for sparing time to connect with us today. Please continue to keep in touch for further assistance on this topic or any other topic that we have treated in the past. I hope you have all enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort at Eyitayo. Once you have subscribed, please turn on the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay connected and updated with information about upcoming events, solutions, and offers on my Instagram account at Comfort Eyitayo, as well as my Facebook account at Comfort Eyitayo. I also want to quickly recognize Pastor Sheyi Eyitayo that joined us from UK. Thank you for connecting with Comfort. Till I come your way again, let us continue to innovate and diversify and embrace collaborative partnership that will further enrich the possibility of growth for our businesses. Thank you for connecting with us today. Till I come your way again, I say good luck and happy